Welcome to FittSocial podcast. I have a special guest today. First guest, David Kennedy. He's a local trainer. Knows what he's doing, knows what he's talking about. I thought it was good to bring him on because he himself has made a amazing transformation, and I thought it was good to hear some of the things that other people have done to sort of do what you guys are trying to do, which is change the way you look, the way you shaped, and just change your life from a fitness sense. So, David, thank you for joining today.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate the invitation, and I'm all about transformation, and that's what you've done, and that's what you're inspiring others to do. So, yeah, man, let's get it, bro. Yeah.
I have to do a special shout out to Brendan, the video guy, the sound guy, everything now, the guy behind the scenes. This wouldn't be possible without him. People don't want to pay for good work. But I think the same applies to like fitness.
Absolutely.
So like, I don't know, what have you seen? Because I know the things that I charge is
right.
I charge for a service, and I think it's worth the charge.
It's a service that we're providing, but then I also feel like regardless of the industry that one is in, you have to determine the value of your minute.
Yeah.
Determine how much you're worth.
Yeah.
Right. And like, we didn't just wake up one day and voila, we're trainers or we're this, we're that, certifications and degrees. A lot of time and effort went into that.
Yeah.
And when you understand what you're worth, then you have no problem charging people to access the knowledge that you paid to gain.
Yeah.
And we're here. We know what we're worth, and we're providing a service, and really doing our part. Yeah.
So tell me about your personal business, because I know you work with a couple other people to help people gain their own fitness.
Yeah. So I'm working with a company called Jones Certified Fitness. A good friend of mine. We linked up during COVID.
Okay.
And he already established his company, and I'm he's like, hey David, would you like to train with us? We got this going. We have a couple supplements that we got going out there too.
Okay.
And we just brought on 2 nutritionists.
Oh, nice.
Well. Yeah, okay. Because it's a holistic type of thing. Fitness without the nutrition is like gas without a car.
Not exactly.
You're not going to get anywhere. I mean, it'll look pretty on the outside, but on the inside, you're not making any momentum.
Yeah.
So, we have a nutritionist. We actually just brought on 2 nutritionists. We got some products out there, Jones Certified Fitness, but, doing our thing. And, so I've been working with him now for almost a year.
Okay.
And, things are going well,
what kind of products do you guys have?
So we have, we got protein, we got a fat burner out there, but we really push that protein.
Okay.
We got a couple BCAAs, and so we got it out there, and just really trying to be a one-stop shop for people.
So earlier when we were working out, I wanted to touch on this, but you brought it up, like fat burners.
Yeah.
Not just fat burners, but like some of these methods that people use to help accelerate their fat loss. Like, what do you think of them? Like the things that I was talking about earlier, such as the sculpture.
Ooh, you jumped right into it.
Yeah, no, because I want to know. I from a trainer's perspective, so the way I feel about them is I like to do things with a natural process as much as possible, because when humans intervene in the body, we do things in a targeted way, but often some of those things are connected to other things.
Exactly.
For example, with like Coolsculpting, it does make you lose fat. So the way it works is that when the physician, they put the machine on the body and the problem area of the fat, they suck the area up, cool the fat, and then they let the rest of the body take care of it. Yeah, that's how it works. So like the dead fat that comes from cooling the fat, it gets sent into the lymphatic system. And that's how, like, over like a few weeks to a few months, it actually works.
Real quick, for the people that's following me, I need you to talk about your accreditation. Because this just ain't a brother who just woke up one day dropping this knowledge, right? This brother got some stuff on the wall.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
Okay.
Real quick, and then we'll get back to the course.
All right. So school. I did a lot of school. I didn't want to... I don't recommend anybody do as much school as I do without like actually having like a desire to do the things that the school teaches you. So I went to medical school after undergrad. I decided that I was not going to practice because I wanted some more scope in my work. And I have that now. I work as a consultant at a management consulting firm. But after medical school is how I found my place there, by doing more work in public health. So I got a master's in public health from Hopkins. And it was there that I learned about health economics. And that's what I do now, global health economics for pharmaceutical companies. But that has it's helped me in that, having some of that specific knowledge as to how everything is connected. Yeah. That's part of what makes me stray more towards doing things the natural way.
Exactly.
Because, if you do surgery, for instance, most people will not recommend that you do elective surgery for a reason. There are nerves in there. There are blood vessels in there. There are things that, human error can affect. And it's not like the surgeons aren't good at what they do. It's just that there is human error. People make mistakes. And surgeons are really good. They're perfect.
Yeah.
Especially if you're talking about a liposuction and the Coolsculpting that I was telling you. So with the Coolsculpting, you forget that, you're cooling the fat, but there's nerves in there. You're cooling those too. And, some people end up with some sort of a, long-term numbness that they weren't expecting to have. Things like that. I agree with those methods to an extent, but you don't pick up some of the things that you and I might have picked up from an actual process of learning.
Right.
Of, what does it take to lose weight? What is the energy content of what I'm eating?
Exactly.
How do you understand what that is? And, the problem with not learning that is that it's hard to sort of maintain, with confidence.
Right.
Without that background knowledge. And I don't think it's inaccessible to everybody. Everybody can access this knowledge. It just takes work.
Yeah.
And not everybody's willing to do the work. So.
Yeah, my take on, those types of enhancements, right? Everybody's situation is different. In my opinion, there's no one size fits all. We're blessed to have the mobility to be able to get in the gym, and, we have the time that we can allot, to that, to investing that time, to get the end result that we desire. And so I like you, if that's what someone wants to do, then make sure you do the research on it, because you make a very good point. There are nerve endings there, and yes, if the goal is to look how you want to look, then what is the plan to maintain that look? So, if you want to get there, okay, let's say A to Z, and let's make Z the end result. Okay, how are you going to sustain that?
Exactly.
Because you get to a point where you don't want to continue to do these types of procedures. Eventually, we're going to have to address your diet. And eventually, we're going to have to establish some sort of workout routine.
Yeah, even patients that, I keep saying patient, even people that, get, what's it called? Gastric bypass.
Yeah.
It's possible that you can go back.
Because, and even with that, I know people who've had the procedure, and I'm all for doing what you need to do. Because the reality is we only have one life to live.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the business of discouraging anyone from seeking to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
However, you need to get there. But let's understand this. Once you get there, are you able to sustain that? Because the way we got to what put us in the place to need to have the surgery, that's more psychological. And those are our daily habits.
Yeah.
And our reality, the reality is we are our daily habit. And if my daily habit was eating cookies and ice cream, just because I had a procedure done that got me to the body I want, I still desire those cookies and ice cream.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with cookies and ice cream. It's all about moderation.
Exactly.
But we have to address, what is it that makes me want to crave that?
Yeah.
Let's deal with that.
The relationship.
Let's deal with the relationship with the food itself, right? Because a lot of times food for many people is a coping mechanism, right? So there's always something in the background that it's a triggering type of, food is what we use to cope with different triggers, and it can be, something happened as a kid and maybe people felt safe eating because, no one else was around. They could do that without any judgment or whatnot. But at the end of the day, people want to be happy.
Yeah.
We're only on this planet. I mean, if we take care of ourselves, maybe 102, 103, 104 years. In that time limit, what are we doing to get the maximum effect? Like, to enjoy the time that we're allotted on the planet.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like as a trainer,
Yeah.
and I'm a trainer too, but I think you've been doing this, longer than I have, definitely. What do you see as sort of like some of the differences between what men want and like what women want as far as like what they're seeking when they come and look for you? I know what I've seen, like a lot of ladies sort of want to like, they like getting these days. They want to lose weight, but they also want to get like more like butt. They want to get more like leg muscle training. Is like, is that similar in your like?
Yeah. And like we said earlier, man, like this thing changes.
Yeah.
Today it's a fat
ass. Just say it.
You know what I mean?
It's a fat ass. That's what
what I mean? Like, like that's what people are chasing today. But years ago, it was everyone wanted to be thin.
Yeah.
Like super thin. So it changes. However, men want to be in shape.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because what is the driving factor behind it? Who are we trying to look good for? Let's talk about
That's
that.
the point.
Right?
That's
because
the point. That's the point.
if it's I just want to look good for me to where I'm the person in the mirror.
And it shouldn't matter if you have a fat ass. It should matter
exactly.
if you look the best.
Do I look how, am I happy with who I see in the mirror?
And you know what I think? It's not even about like what men or women want, but like people looking like they are the best version of who they are. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a fat ass. It doesn't mean that it's going to be like muscular, but it is going to be healthy.
Exactly.
It's going to look healthy and it's visible.
Yes.
Healthy in general is visible, whether you're
Yes.
big or small,
Mm-hmm.
or whether you have a very accentuated part or not, whether it's bicep, whether it's chest. Healthy it's
visible.
It's apparent. It's visible.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just like, in my personal opinion, I help people. I do want to help people get the things that they want.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really think people should be searching for is what is best. What is the best version of them? Whether that's the fattest ass, or whether it's the biggest biceps. But if that's not you, are you still the best you?
Yeah.
Find that.
Because all of us have a genetic build.
Exactly.
And understanding our genetic build, so a lot of men in my family they have bigger arms, they have broader chests, a little thicker,
Yeah.
But I have some friends and they see me and they're like, David, dang, I like the way your chest is shaped, I like the way your arms are, I want that.
But should you look for that? You should look for you.
Look for you. Which is why I appreciate the fitness industry, man, because in this industry you have so many people with different biological structures, and they all kind of can look not the same, but be the best version that you can be for you within the scope that you can be.
Yeah,
I'm 5'8". I'm never gonna be LeBron's height,
and you don't have to be.
You don't have to be.
You don't have to be.
I'm comfortable with who I am.
Yeah,
but all of that. Here comes the rain.
Oh,
but
yeah,
all of that is more psychological. And once I got that together, man, I feel like everything else really started to flow.
Agree, 100% agree. I really feel like, most people, if you're really going to come at this from a healthy standpoint, it is about weight loss because you want to see progress, but it's not about emulating another person.
Right.
You do want to, some people come to fitness trainers because they're like, this is a person that I would, most like to look like.
Right.
And, that's a human thing to do.
Absolutely.
But to go at it from a more balanced perspective is to realize that you have a genetic potential that is granted to you from birth.
Yes.
Your job in health is to maximize that.
You have
whatever
a genetic potential that
you
was
have,
granted. That's good.
You maximize that. And I used to think that in high school, to be honest. I told you like how I was like small in high school, but like the goal is to maximize your genetic potential.
Right.
Don't try and emulate someone else's genetic potential because you're not going to, because it's not in you. It doesn't make sense to. But, everybody can maximize what they already have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
that's good. You took the words out of my mouth. Like, maximize what you have the capability of attaining.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we all do that, man, then that's when the world really legitimately becomes a better place, because then you're not trying to be anything you're not.
Yeah.
And that limits the risk for disappointment.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes people stop. It's just the disappointment because you didn't achieve what someone else has achieved that you probably would have never achieved because you don't have the genetics that they have.
You don't have the genetics.
And it's like you should have never even been looking for that to begin with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So where does that come from? Like that desire to achieve what is not a reality for you based on your genetic makeup? Like,
interesting question. I think it just comes from, so there's something I learned like back in school called like relative poverty.
Okay.
When someone, you live in a place and you're the rich person.
Okay.
Everybody around you wants to be you.
Mm-hmm.
They call that like, it's relative poverty. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like wanting what appears to be good. Okay. And I think it's just a very human thing to do.
Right.
And I think that's just literally what it comes from. A person who is, I guess looks healthy, looks desirable to other people, want those things. But I think people confuse wanting to be exactly like that person with wanting to be whatever that person did for themselves of them.
Right.
And, we shouldn't confuse that, because that's when we start getting, all the issues with body image and those kind of things. Like those issues come from seeking what someone else has. And it's like, it's fine that you're, obviously like people that are not in the healthiest state should desire to be in a more healthier state. We gotta be real about like what's healthy and what's not, and what's more likely to lead to, I guess, downstream consequences, diabetes, obesity, like those kind of things. We sort of like kind of push them under the rug now, but we should really be real about like, some of these things have consequences that other health states do not have.
Right.
But the point is that seeking the best version of yourself doesn't necessarily mean you're going to look like someone else. And we should be okay with that. And therefore, we should be okay with what we're starting from. Because we're all starting from different places. I started out really skinny. Other people started out really big.
Right.
We all end up in the same place.
Right.
The best of ourselves.
The best of yourself.
And that's what matters.
Right.
So I think if most people could like just tackle it from that standpoint, during the process, you're not going to get the disappointment. Like, you can't run as much as your trainer runs, but you'll be able to run better than you ran before you met that trainer. Right. And I think that's as good as, I think that's, any progress is good. It's like you're working on something. So that's where I'm at with it. And it's only through fitness that I was able to like, understand that, I could be upset that I'm not like 6'5". I could be upset.
But you can't change that.
You can't change that shit. Right. And it's fine. Like my life is good. And, having the gratitude with what you have now is key.
Yeah.
So I think, another question that I sort of wanted to ask you is, I think I wanted you to expand on something about the food.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Because the food is really the problem here.
Yeah.
With most people. People can exercise and still not see results. I know that was the case with me.
Same here.
Until I hired a trainer that helped me get ready for competition. And, I told you earlier, like he changed my food. And like within 3 months, because I'd already been working out for like years and years.
You have the dedication. You were putting in the necessary work.
I just didn't understand.
Your diet was
my diet
kind of
it didn't fit it didn't fit the shape that I wanted.
Exactly.
So I had to change my diet. And when he did that, everything fell into place. But like, so I know one of the small changes, like really small changes I made is like, when I started working, back maybe like 5 years ago, after school, I stopped putting sugar and cream in my coffee, because I know I was drinking a lot of coffee because I had to stay up to do the work that I was trying to do. And, those little cups of coffee with the sugar, that adds up.
That makes a difference.
It adds up.
I actually stopped that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still use cream.
Okay.
I try to stay away from the flavored creams.
Okay.
But the cream I may use may have it may have little cups 10 calories type of thing.
Okay.
But that was an adjustment, man.
Yeah.
Because we typically eat and drink things because they taste good.
Yeah.
And
that's how we're built.
Right.
It is literally what makes us alive.
And that's a small thing that I did a couple of years ago when I really got on this transformation, man. I was like, okay, where can I make small changes that will have a lasting effect?
Yeah.
Changes that I can make that I can sustain.
Yeah.
I think a mistake a lot of people make when it comes to diet, man, especially people who aren't necessarily competing. They just want to live a healthier life and they want to, try to get in shape and be the best version of themselves. While I am a proponent of jumping all in, sometimes we can make drastic changes that are not sustainable changes.
Yeah.
And that's when we fall off the wagon. And then it's that falling off the wagon, oftentimes, if we don't have a good support team around us, we stay off the wagon.
Yeah.
I understand people may miss a training session. You may have go out with your friends, have a great night and all of that. But we need to establish a circle around us to where when that happens, who helps us get back on track?
Yeah.
The reason why there's so many trainers out here doing what we do, man, is because so many people get off track and they need that accountability to where after they've gone out with their friends and had a great time, okay, look, we can't change that. Don't beat yourself up about it. You can't change it, but let's really try to make some adjustments there. So what can we do to create sustainability in the desire that you want to reach?
So let me ask you this, from a perspective of a trainer that's trained a few people, what do you think that people need most from trainers? Is it motivation? Is it accountability? Is it knowledge? Is it the nutrition? What do you think they need most?
I think, let's take a minute to celebrate nutritionists.
Yeah. That's a good point. Good point.
And I feel like that is a up and coming aspect, or it's like they're trainers, but for what you put in your body.
Yeah.
As far as food and things like that. So I think it is good to have a good nutritionist, someone who can advise you on what you should eat, determining the amount of calories is necessary, because we understand, until the body gets into a caloric deficit, you're not going to lose weight.
Yeah.
And so it's real simple when you think about it. I have to eat less than what I burn.
Yeah.
I have to burn more than what I eat.
But then on top of that, it's what
I'm eating.
It's what I'm
exactly.
eating.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't realize.
Right. Yeah. And so, and that's the benefit of having a nutritionist and a trainer, someone who can kind of get you on a program and help to encourage you to keep that. Right. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the individual. So understanding, as long as you have somebody who desires that and their desire to reach that goal is a desire that is something that they really, really want. Because, we've all trained people, man. It's like, today I want it, but I don't want it bad enough. And sometimes as a trainer, you can want it more than the person you're training.
And I'll be honest, sometimes that discourages me.
It's very discouraging.
Because it's like, damn.
Bro, waking up at 5 a.m, busting your ass, getting out there and, putting programs together, coming up with stuff.
Bro.
Being creative,
The programs that I put together, they take a long time.
Yes.
They take a long time, and it's like, damn, and this is not shade to people in
no,
general, but it's just kind of it's just a reality situation.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, this took time, and I want it for people so bad that I'm willing to put the time in just so that I can see it work, because it makes me feel good that you changed because I helped you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I want that time to be worth it. That's just a reality of being a human being who wants to help you. You know what I mean? Oh, that's my aggressive elbow. But yeah, that's how I feel sometimes. But like, thankfully, like I haven't really had that experience that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the clients that I've had are like they're very
and they're eager for it.
Yeah, they're eager for it.
I love when a client is like, David, can I get another day? Like, how can we fit another day into your schedule? I'm like, shit, like this is because that's the hunger I had.
Yeah.
You know. So you were asking about what?
What was I asking about? I forgot.
yeah, I feel like
we went off talking, but I was saying like, what are like some of the differences between what men and what women are looking for?
I feel like men want the broad shoulders.
Yeah.
Men want the big pet.
Yeah.
Nowadays we emphasize working your legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you want to, in my opinion, a man should be able to carry his leg. I don't know if you saw.
That's a statement.
I don't know if you saw some time ago, man. Like there was a flood in Alexandria.
I saw that video.
Did you see that video? And the guy was to try to pick his leg up.
I saw that video.
Fell.
Oh my god!
And then another man had to come pick his woman up. I saw that
video.
Come on, big dog.
And she was like,
yeah. And so then she's
saw that video too.
Right. And then she's hanging on to the other man.
Oh my god!
I never want to be the man if my lady is down. I can't pick her up.
I was just like, why did you even go to the water? First of
all, you shouldn't be out.
You shouldn't have been there. But like,
first of all, you're not built for that. You're not built for that life.
That hurt me. I was just kind of like
that man, and then the man had the nerve to try to reach out for her. She's like, man, get off me. Okay, so like, let's talk about functional strength. You need to be able to pick up a suitcase. You need to be able to lift some boxes.
Do things that you will have to do in life.
Exactly.
In addition to the weights and stuff.
Exactly.
Use the energy. You know what I'm saying? Use
right.
It.
Like if.
That's a good point. Like I forgot about that video.
Bruh. I saw that. I was like, oh man. And then the dude who came to pick her up, you know, big dude came. I got you. You
know?
Right.
I got you later.
Yeah, knight in shining armor with her boyfriend or whoever it was who just spent money on a date.
Do you know what's so funny? The part that made me like most like was the rapping.
Yes.
The rap. I was like, oh gosh.
Oh,
could not be me.
And then it's funny, like the picture they found of that brother who ended up picking a woman up. He had his shirt off, looking all cock diesel on the ground. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine being the man who couldn't pick his woman up? Probably not his woman no more.
And that sucks.
Like
that sucks.
The functional component to why we work out, so that we can live a life and be able to do what it is we need to do in life.
Yeah.
Be able to lift things, be able to be healthy.
And that's not to say women shouldn't be strong as well.
Absolutely.
That's not to say that. It's just
but as a man, from a man's perspective, can I lift if we're going to the airport, I should be able to lift your suitcase.
You know, the analogy I give clients sometimes is, do you want to be the person like in the movie that's hanging off the cliff and you can't pull yourself up?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person. Mm-mm. So you got to be able to do a pull-up.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that that's ever going to be a situation anybody is in, but it is to say that being competent in a functional sense is important. And fitness gets you there. Mm-hmm. And part of that competence gives you confidence.
Yes.
And, you know, I feel like I'm much more confident than I used to be. But part of it is because of the hard things that I've had to do. Mm-hmm. And being able to surpass hard things makes you feel that you can do other hard things.
Exactly.
And most things in life aren't as hard as the hard things.
It's like when you're working out, man, and you're pushing 225 and you're doing like maybe three sets. Yeah. You're on that third set, 2 reps to go. You can either rack the weight or you can push those next 2 reps. Yeah. Right? You're strong enough to do it because you've already done it. Yeah. But do you have the willpower to persevere and push past the comfort zone, like push past where you're ready to give up?
And that's the key.
Yes. So,
on that note, we're going to end the podcast today, but it was like a great conversation. Man. Yeah, yes. I didn't expect it to go like that. Did not expect it to go like that, but you know, thanks for joining today. It was definitely good speaking with you and getting your insight on things. We're going to be doing more and more like guests. I like the guest format. I do like it now that I've done it myself first time. But yeah, you guys subscribe, let us know what you think. If you want more content like this, let me know. If you have ideas, you know, I'm open. But yeah. thank you guys for joining the FittSocial podcast, and I will talk to you again another time. All right,
David's
guys.
plug?
Oh yeah, and David. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you guys follow him. And this guy, follow the trainer, David B. Kennedy.
Yeah, David B. Kennedy.
I'll put your at on the actual thing. So, but follow him.
David B. Kennedy.
Because this guy made his own transformation. You guys got to see it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Anyway, good talking to you all, and peace out.